This news just came out yesterday, I saw.
Yeah. Possible takeover.
What?
Yeah. But Stripe, they've reportedly scrounged together $53 billion to buy PayPal. PayPal. They're like $1 trillion company. That'd be a huge acquisition. They have like 400 million customers currently. That would be a huge buy.
Who's still PayPaling?
A lot of people. Just compared to Stripe, PayPal in 2025 moves roughly $1.8 trillion through it.
Dang.
Stripe is bigger, but they only moved $1.9 trillion in the same period. So like they're actually quite even.
Wow.
So it's actually much bigger than we think.
Okay. All right, PayPal. Freaking go off, dude. I thought you were like kind of a loser right now, but y'all are still winning. So
No, they're still around.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Vector, aka the reason that your ad targeting actually works. You know, the ones with the cute little ghosties in the feed. Your favorite marketing team's secret weapon for ad targeting. See why at vector.co.
Yeah.
Yo.
Welcome back.
Episode 70, Notorious B2B. It's a good one.
Yes.
70.
Speaking of
We have
70, have you started
30 more. 30 more. And then we don't win a prize or anything. We just...
No. We'll probably get like a plaque, maybe. We'll just like send each other a plaque.
We will put yes, we should send each other a gift, and then we'll post on LinkedIn with like one of those like celebrating 100 episodes. We should do a new position post because those always fucking kill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's lame, but yeah. I hear you.
We're going to do it. All right. What do we have here? This news just came out yesterday, I saw.
Yeah. Possible takeover.
What?
Yeah. I said it, takeover. Sort of. So Stripe and Advent. So Advent's kind of like a, funding company or whatever. But Stripe, the big, the payments company.
Yes.
The big up and comer.
We are familiar.
They have reportedly, yes, I hope so. They've reportedly scrounged together $53 billion to buy PayPal. PayPal, I can't remember what year this was, but when they started, they were bought by eBay. Then they went back out on their own. They're like $1 trillion company, but Stripe and Advent are looking to buy them. It's just that'd be a huge acquisition because PayPal is massive. I think they have like 400 million customers currently. I think Stripe has a little bit more, which is interesting because they're a lot later, but that would be a huge buy.
So what is crazy to me is we went through a PayPal phase. Everyone had PayPal.
Yes.
And then I don't know what happened. And then everyone moved to Venmo, me included. So now I've moved my emotion to now, oh, hey, Venmo me. It used to be PayPal me. My verb is now Venmo. And so in my mind, I'm like, who's still PayPaling? A
lot of people.
Really? Do you have people in your life that are still PayPaling?
It still shows up. Like when you buy stuff, like, you see like PayPal is still an option for a lot of things.
Ooh, yeah. So like when you're doing like an Amazon or like online shopping, PayPal is an option, but Venmo is not. So they probably partnered through there, which is perfect for Stripe.
I think more so overseas too. Like I've actually paid an overseas contractor with PayPal. Okay. Because it's just like a different type of thing. I used them a lot back in the day when they were connected with eBay. Like they were, because I used to do a lot of eBay and like that was one of the things you'd pay through PayPal. And so naturally I had money in there, so I would just use it for other things. I've used it a lot less now, but you can still use it in a lot of different capacities. It's such a hassle compared to Venmo. But yeah, PayPal still pretty big. The other thing I would say about them is I think this has changed, but it used to have like more fees attached. Like Venmo just made everything free, and then they had to change as well. But it's more businessy, I think, than Venmo too. Yeah,
I can see it being more businessy. And then the nice part about using PayPal or Venmo or anything, which by the way, they're not sponsoring us. We're like, so great. Is just they're kind of like a credit card company where you can dispute, even though it's kind of like debited transactions. Yes. So I think that's why it became like such a big eBay thing, was like you could protect yourself by buying shady shit on eBay with PayPal. You know what I mean?
Now, I know you don't use it, but like just compared to Stripe. So PayPal in 2025 moves roughly $1.8 trillion through it. Dang. Stripe is bigger, but they only moved $1.9 trillion in the same period. So like they're actually quite even.
Wow.
So it's actually much bigger than we think.
Wow. Okay. All right. PayPal, freaking go off, dude. I thought you were like kind of a loser right now, but y'all are still winning. So
No, they're still around.
What about Venmo? What are the stats on Venmo? I just want to see.
Oh.
I want to see if I need to abandon Venmo ship and go back to PayPal.
I do not think they're even close.
Oh, dang. You think the moms on Facebook Marketplace with the Venmos and Cash Apps are nowhere near? Because that's
it says, it's nowhere near. But it does say Venmo's revenue reached approximately $1.7 billion in 2025. So Billy, Trilly, a little different. But to your question,
revenue, or is that moving money through it? Because that was the stat you had before, was the moving of money, not necessarily their rev.
It doesn't really matter though, because Stripe and PayPal take fees. Venmo, I'm sending money to my friends. They don't get anything out of that.
Okay.
I mean,
all right. How do they make money? Ads?
You can move money faster by paying money. Like, you know how like if you get money, you can transfer to your bank in like 3 days. You can do it within a day if you do a little fee. And businesses also, like there's this little older lady. She does Venmo. I buy sourdough bread from her. I pay with Venmo, and I think she gets beat up on the back end.
Oh,
it's really good. No, right. It's like a $15 sourdough. Do not She makes some money, but it's really good.
Fine. All right. Fair. Okay. Moving on to
Let's Noodle.
Noodle.
Let's Noodle.
We got a lot to noodle on today.
Oh, we do. It's quite the docket.
Okay.
But first off,
this
one's weird. The LinkedIn death spiral.
Okay.
I don't know if
before you go into it though, you know what this makes me think of is when alligators do the death roll. That's immediately what I thought of when I see death spiral. I'm just thinking of LinkedIn latching onto our arm and just freaking like doing the belly roll to try to rip it off. Because that's how alligators get their prey. It got really, really graphic. Hopefully you're not listening to this with kids in the car, but you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure this adds up there, but yeah, I hear you. I'm there. I'm with you. I love me some nature too.
Fine.
But this post comes from Melissa Rosenthal, who has become one of our, she doesn't know it, but she's become a contributor to the show.
Yeah. Don't tell her because she's going to start charging us money.
Yeah, can't do that. No. But, coincidentally, I've seen other people in other group chats that I'm in talking about this too, where if you see some sort of death on LinkedIn, I know it's a professional platform, but if you see death or like something about a baby or like something gruesome, if you like it, engage with it one time. Like you just do the support emoji. If you just comment on it, your feed just starts turning into this kind of like the death roll, the death spiral. A lot of people are talking about this now, where if you see something, you like it, just one like, it just turns your whole feed into just death and gruesome stuff, which is so crazy for LinkedIn.
This makes me want to create a second account just for us to test these like wild theories that we find out about these things. You know, imagine how much we could be testing. Like we would test the demographic change, which I just remembered. I'm still a straight white male on LinkedIn.
Are you? No wonder you're booming right now.
Oh yeah, booming with my 40 likes per post. It's actually not working for that argument. But I honestly believe that because LinkedIn's trying to do that stupid like interest-based content, and that's why your followers don't matter. And so it's thinking, oh, okay, like you obviously, I don't think it has anything to do with the emoji, which is what they're trying to say is like, oh, you put the support emoji and you're going to be filled with gruesome shit. I think it's literally you're going to put support emojis on things that are sad. And so it's showing LinkedIn that, hey, you're liking in whatever. If you did the celebrate emoji on someone saying like my dad passed away or whatever, you're obviously going to use that other emoji, but they're looking at the content and saying, oh, Tim is interested in deaths. We're going to show him more. I can totally see that happening. I mean, how long was your feed full of the Claude workbooks and stuff? Because you kept commenting and hounding them about their work stuff. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Same shit. Yeah. So
it did stop at one point, which is great. I don't know what happened there. Just the algo change really did like get rid of them. It was really crazy.
They have slowed down quite a bit.
Oh, a ton. At least in my feed.
I went to someone's profile today just to because they sent me a connection request and I was like, is this person legit or not? And then, it shows you their activity and all their activity with just them going, market in all caps, workbook, ROI, just like commenting on all these posts. I'm like, oh, this poor soul has commented for all these playbooks.
Some people do. Some people, that's their jam. They love that stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, I think it's just weird on LinkedIn because this happens in other platforms. Like whatever you like, whatever you engage with it makes your feed more of that. Like there's been times on Instagram where it was about dogs dying, but these long videos. There's like a viral type of theme at one point. I hated it because it showed like the puppy up until like the dog dies.
Oh no!
And I was starting to see about them, and it made me cry. Oh my god, it was so sad. But I would see those for a long time because I was watching those. I get view rate was up. It was up.
Yeah.
But on LinkedIn, like it's a professional platform. And I get it. It's not always professional, but it's just weird to see on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Especially because all of them always say, like, if you do see a death post, it's always like, this isn't what I'd usually post on LinkedIn, which is fair because I hope there's not a lot of deaths all the time for you, but they always caveat it with it.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I need LinkedIn to keep being weird and people posting inappropriate stuff because that's why we have a show. You know what I'm saying?
That's so true.
If people supposed to post on LinkedIn and they didn't F up and they were professional, the show would meet its demise very quickly. So, it's called Notorious.
So true, actually.
Okay, speaking of, next one, we have Kyle Lacy. I haven't seen him in our feed in a minute. Maybe because I don't interact with his stuff, or maybe he hasn't posted as much lately. Kyle Lacy, he says, rescinding a job offer after 15 interviews plus travel plus prep is an absolute theft of someone's time and completely unacceptable. Someone I know just went through this, 15 interviews, weeks of prepping, travel. There's your 3-sentence, Tim. I'm sure they burned some PTO in the process. They put in 100% of effort to get the role and they got the offer. Amazing. Then the company closed huge funding and pulled the job after the offer. Absolute BS. If I was that candidate, I'd send an invoice every hour. Here we go. Every hour of prep, every interview, every day of lost productivity, billed at market rate. Oh, Kyle. Then I talked to a lawyer.
Like
no way.
That's him.
Yeah, right. Okay. You don't have to be quiet about being treated as an expense line item. Instead of complaining entirely, I thought I'd offer some advice for both candidates and companies. For candidates, get the offer in writing before you give notice or travel again. Verbal offers are not offers. Ask directly about funding status and hiring freezes during the process. Has this rec been at risk of being cut is a fair question. If it happens to you, document everything, dates, hours, travel costs, and use it. For companies, if you rescind an offer after the candidate accepted, you owe them something. Time, money, or both. Silence is not an option. Fast growth does not excuse treating candidates like trash. How you treat someone on their way out the door before they even get started is a brand decision, not a legal one. Companies love to talk about candidate experience in their employer branding decks, but the real employer branding is what happens in the interview process and how you treat your people. Thoughts?
Okay. First off, I'm confused.
Oh?
Because getting funding means you had more money. What happened there? Isn't it like the opposite? Like if you didn't get the funding, you wouldn't have the money to hire the people?
No, they do a lot of hiring freezes during trying to get a funding round. So I think it's
okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I read that wrong. So they didn't get the fund, they were going through it. I thought it said that they got the funding round.
They were trying to, I think they try to show profitability, they try to pull as much. That's why half the layoffs happen. It's we're trying to show that we're really lean and profitable. We don't need more people, that kind of thing. So they shut everything down. At least when I've gone through hiring freezes in the past, it's we're being evaluated right now. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Fair enough then on that point. So 15 interviews is fudging excessive. Let's start with that.
Yes.
I would like someone to tell me what is going on at 15 interviews. I want to understand what you are asking and what you're doing in these 15 interviews. Yeah. Is it 15 different people? If so, can we figure out a freaking group situation here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we figure out a 10-minute interview? If you do 15, instead of it being 30 minutes every time, can we do, all right, here's your 30-minute, but you're meeting with 3 people.
How many rounds have you done in an interview max in the past?
My answer's not fair because I wasn't in this time. I understand it's changed a lot now.
Okay.
For me, I think the max I've done was like 4.
Okay. I've done 6.
Okay.
That was which was a lot. And after I got the job, accepted it, they had me do one more interview. And they were like, it's not really an interview. It's kind of like this, we just want you to meet this person. But it's like, oh my God, I'm starting, like, just give me some breathing room here. Like, I just got this job and you're still making me talk to people. The comment section is filled with people who feel the way you feel. But you know who's in the comment section?
Let me guess. CW? I'm actually coming around to him recently, by the way.
Stop.
I've always liked him.
Yeah.
But I'm coming around to him now.
I mean,
like I'm liking him more.
I've also liked him. I don't know anything about him other than what we talk about with his pivot. But when you say you're coming around, are you coming around to his...
I think his comments are making more and more sense now.
Shit.
I think he's changed his narrative a little bit to less of the
frequency thing.
Yeah. And now he's being real about like, yeah. And I think it's hitting, at least to my, like stuff he's saying. I'm like, yeah. I started to head now. I'm like, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Someone probably said you're scaring people with the woo-woo stuff. So how about you ease them into it? You know, like don't start out the gate with dark social. Kind of educate on like how it's hard to track dark social, and I mean, you know, how to track social in general or word of mouth, and then like introduce the concept slowly. So Chris Walker, he's right.
I read it. I think he's right.
Okay, so he says it's actually their fault for agreeing to interview 5 to 15 times and letting themselves get dragged along. If you can't see the obvious red flags, that's on you. 27 likes on this one. And obviously I'm seeing that there's some argument that's going back and forth here with a bunch of people. Kyle goes, I disagree. Oh, okay. It's when I see two like bigger LinkedIn creators start to like get into it, it gets very like Transformers in my mind. It's like it's like Optimus Prime and freaking what's his name, Megatron. They're just like, I was like, oh, shit's happening. So Kyle Lacy goes, I disagree, especially if they're really in a bind and need to find a job. That's a good argument.
I do. I do agree there.
In any other market, I might agree with you. And then people like this guy's open to work. He says the job market is stupid competitive right now and your bank account does not care about red flags. Oh, facts. Chris goes, because it sounds like ignoring the obvious red flags worked out really well for this person. Upside down emoji. Oh, Chris.
But if he got it though, it's a different conversation here.
Yes. Then it's like you're worth it. You sustained.
You grinded it.
Yeah. You're resilient. You're a hustler. Okay. So then Chris goes, so you're telling me your daughter comes home and says, hey dad, I just did 9 interviews with a company and they asked me to do another one. What should I do? And you're telling them to go, LOL. And then to go again for 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. The situation in the market is irrelevant. That is lunacy. Real quick, Chris Walker using a child analogy with 0 children. Like, I love people who use parenting analogies and they know nothing about parenting. But anyway.
You don't know that. Maybe he's got nephews.
Okay. You know what? Here's the thing. Chris Walker knows a lot about a lot of things more than I do. He does not know more about parenting than I do. I'm living it. Okay. Maybe textbook he knows. Another Chris Kiertz, the one he's arguing with the open to work banner, says, my point is most people don't have the privilege of being able to walk away from a potential job simply because it doesn't feel right. Chris, he's hammering down. Okay. He's not giving up this fight. But the thing that Chris Walker forgets is that the open to work crowd is not a crowd to be messed with.
They got time.
Dude, they got time to lose. All they have is the gumption and time to fucking argue to death with you. Okay.
They got time.
Chris goes, it's not a privilege and playing the victim that this company wronged you and you had no choice because of your bank account and you have no privilege or personal agency gets you nowhere and keeps you stuck. Oh no, he's going to start pitching.
No, please don't.
I can feel it.
He says frequency once, I'm done.
I'm freaking out. Okay. Michael King, a different dude. Chris Walker, I get your point. I've had conversations with people in the same situation. I tell them that if the company can't decide by now, if you are a candidate, you should walk. But then they say, I've been out of work for 8 months. I need the job. And I change my tone and tell them, you got to do what you got to do. This is my fourth downturn. And every time the company takes advantage of the candidates, it's not right, but it never changes. We all have to do what we need to do. And then, people are like just going back and forth on it. They didn't know they were getting the job when they flew out there. That's why they did it, yada, yada. I first experienced it in 2002 when I got into recruiting, learned a great lesson. Yeah. And then Chris Walker comes back. I've noticed some people somehow take what I say that's actually empowering and interpret it as blame. Chrissy, your delivery is a little harsh sometimes, so I can see how people are taking it as blame.
Yeah.
And Sarah White goes, Chris Walker, it's not empowering. That's why. And he goes, validating someone as a victim as a means for them to abdicate their own personal agency is the opposite of empowering. So anyway, this is a long argument thread.
Long thread. Yeah.
Go read it. It's kind of like crazy. This one person says, wow, I did 9 rounds and got a generic rejection one time, which felt really bad, but this is so much worse. Everyone is between, hey, it's a tough market, that kind of thing. Pranav, my favorite.
My guy.
Our guy, CEO at Paramark, says, name and shame the company, I say. Yeah. The only valid comment here is...
It's actually fair.
Yeah, don't protect these companies, honestly. So anyway, that's kind of where that is. I don't know. I do see it both ways, and I feel like the further you get into an interview process, you think they're bought into you. Like you're just like, okay, I met the major players in the beginning. Now it's all like these CYAs. I'm meeting all these other stakeholders, like they're pretty invested in me if they want to keep spending all this time with me. I would be taking it as a good sign that they want to see me so much.
That's the other thing is it does sound like it wasn't more about him. It was more of like you mentioned, the hiring freeze because they want to get funding. So,
they might have hired him and then been like, oops, sorry, we have to rescind.
At interview 8, it might have been just you're meeting with execs now and like in these different stakeholders and like you feel good. Like at that point you feel good. Like you're going to get this. Mm-hmm. And if this didn't happen, this thing that was outside of his control or their control, he would have got it.
Yeah.
So you feel good. And again, at interview 9, there's also this like barrier of like, all right, do I just lose all the time I've already spent? Or do I just keep going for it? Like just keep, just really try. And if you do get it, then the payoff's even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. There's the other point he makes here. It's like, should the company pay you for your time? Should he invoice them? I don't think just invoicing them is going to do anything, but like the theoretical kind of conversation here could be like, in this kind of instances, should the company just be like, all right, we will pay you for this time that you spent. Let's just say each one's 30 minutes. Let's not even count the prep because you can't really, how do you do that? 9 or 15 times 30, that's at least, it's at least 8 hours plus the travel. The travel, that's completely, you should be paying for the flight and all that too, especially. But should companies do this?
I've interviewed where I had to fly when we were in Iowa and we were interviewing in Columbus. I remember I interviewed with a couple of companies here. One was Energy and the other one was Justice, the kids.
Justice League?
No, Justice, the kids brand, the clothing brand. And both companies flew me out. Both companies comped all my travel for going out there. So that was back in the day. I don't know if they do that now, but I feel like that's just the correct thing to do, that I was flown out and they paid for it since they wanted me to come out. I have a feeling that this company at least paid him for travel. I don't know. Kyle doesn't say anything about that. It also sounds like he did get the job. It just, verbal offer. It just got, verbal offer just got pulled. And then the third part is for all the other time that's wasted. I mean, it's not that much. Like we always talk about hours, like as consultants, and we're like, it's like, we're 200 an hour, or like some crazy people are like, we're 1,000 an hour. For like the regular person who's working in-house, like my husband gets paid really well, but if you like take his hourly rate, it amounts to somewhere between like $80 to $100 an hour. So you take like 15 hours, say every interview took an hour. It's 15 hours at $100. That's $1,500 of a comp. That's not that much to just give someone, right?
That's a lot for someone that's open to work.
No, but I'm saying it's not a lot for the company to give to that person and say, hey, thank you for your time. Sorry, we rescinded the offer. We've comped your travel and here's $1,500 for your troubles. Perfect.
Correct.
That's a great way to do it. And Kyle is right that it is a brand decision to do
Yes and no, because then you have to do it for everyone. That adds up.
Yeah, I guess.
That everyone's not going to have 15 interviews, but if you have, but say you're hiring, over a year and you're hiring 30 people, you don't hire. That means if there's 5 people like as candidates, and let's just say each one does 5 interviews, that's a lot of people and a lot of money you're giving out because you did it for one person.
Maybe you have a standard. Like I told you, I went through 6 interviews for my last director position, which seemed fair. But maybe it's something where it's like, if we're asking them for work, like do a project, travel always has to be comped. And if we're having interviews more than a designated like 5 or 6 hours, we give them something. And then it'll force everybody to keep the interviews under 6 hours too.
But here's the actual truth. No company's going to do it.
Actual truth. What are you? Is this Tim AI? Tim GPT?
No, this is corporate. Okay. I want to just be honest here. No company's going to do it. You want to know why? Because there's tons of people with open to work. And even if they didn't hire this guy because they rescinded the offer because of the funding, all that, 15 interviews, there's 10 other people that are open to work that are going to come in and do the 15 interviews. That's why. It is not a good market for people that want to get hired. It is the company market right now. Like people don't have jobs. It's hard. It's not 2021, different. They might have done that. Remember when they were giving out free healthcare to everyone because they wanted to hire people fast? Yeah. They don't do that anymore.
No.
They don't care anymore.
Remember sign-on bonuses?
Oh my gosh. I remember the company I was working for changed everything. The healthcare thing was it was like $1 for the best healthcare you can think of. Like literally. Yeah. Because we needed to hire fast. We were given free membership, gym memberships, like all that stuff. I don't know what they're doing anymore, but I'm assuming you don't have to do that anymore.
Man, one of the companies I worked at paid our insurance. Like it was just you didn't pay for your paycheck. They pay because it was a company with like 100 employees. They just paid for everyone's insurance. I was like, I had my baby on that, so.
I mean, I think we covered a story recently where one of these bigger companies, they got rid of like some sort of leave or something like that because, or they cut it because they don't need to hire anymore. So they don't need to keep employee retention doesn't matter as much anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's like, okay, you don't want to work here? We'll go get someone else. You can work for nothing. We'll overwork you. We'll underpay you. And no more ping pong tables and pizza parties, okay? Budget's tight.
Yeah. 1,000 other applicants. If you don't want it,
bye. God, crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true.
Let's move on. What is next? What's going on here? Another beautiful case of plagiarism. We love to plagiarize. It's so fun. Even with AI, it's easier to plagiarize.
It is. Now. And what's funny is obviously a lot of smaller companies are doing it, but a lot of the bigger companies are getting the flack.
Yeah. Remember when we covered Deloitte and Deloitte wrote its entire paper with AI? So it's either we're in the swing of either people are just letting AI have some agency in pulling all this content, and AI either is making shit up or it's me just copying stuff. And either way, no one is verifying it. So you're falling in one of 2 buckets, which is plagiarized or made up shit. That's just like where content is going now. Please proceed.
The company under fire today is Dentsu owned 360i, big market agency.
Yes.
They do commercials for these Pepsi's, Coca-Colas. These are the type of these big agencies, big companies. Yeah. And every year they do a state of social media type of report, those like classic reports that these companies do every year. But this year they clearly used AI to write it. And unfortunately they got plagiarizing. So Joe Lazer was actually the author behind the plagiarized work here, but he wrote the work for a newsletter called Link in Bio for Rachel Carton. So his post starts with a screenshot of Rachel Carton, who is a Substack newsletter person who talks about the plagiarized work. And basically, so I'm going to go to the actual Substack.
Pulling up the Substack. Okay.
Oh yeah, got it right here.
Nice.
So she actually calls out 360i in this post here. Substack post. 459 likes. I didn't know you can go crazy on Substack like that.
Dang.
But she shares a screenshot of the actual newsletter piece that was plagiarized and basically highlights in yellow, which is 95% of the actual work.
Yeah, there's like sentences that are not highlighted in yellow.
Yes. So copy and paste right into their state of social media report, and actually calls out 360i saying your new state of social report very blatantly plagiarizes a link in bio, which is her newsletter, link in bio article from a few months ago. I always want the newsletter to be a helpful resource that gets passed around and used in internal decks, but seeing a big agency copy and paste with zero credit and claim thinking as their own in a public article is disappointing.
Okay.
They did respond.
Oh, what did they say? What did they say?
So they did respond. They said, lesson learned. This is what happens when moving too fast with AI. As soon as we learned of this yesterday, we immediately corrected the attribution and connected directly with Rachel to apologize and continue the conversation.
Okay. All right.
But they clearly used AI for this. And these type of reports, I don't know if you remember when you were young in your world, but like when I was first going into like agencies, so this is like 2018, 17, I got all these reports.
Yeah.
I printed them out. I read them. I highlighted them. These things have distribution because you get all the low level people. Yeah. Like me. And so like just to be able to like write it with AI obviously saves them a bunch of time and money, but now they're just plagiarizing. And I'm sure there's more in that. That's just more than that.
Yeah, you know, in my younger years, this is a crazy story. Merkle, the agency Merkle, who is under Dentsu now, used to release the state of paid report every year. Yeah. And every year I would download it, print it. I remember reading it on the plane so that I could take it back to my team meetings and sound really smart with the data points that I would get from there. And now, but I mean, I could trust it a little bit more then, because you know why? Those reports would take like months and months and months and months to create. And now these mofos are just creating them overnight because they feel like they can. AI is happily going and, you know, looking up shit on the internet. And instead of paraphrasing or even reciting or providing credibility via sources or anything like that, they're just plagiarizing or making shit up. And this is why with these prompts, you need to not only ask it to either give credit where credit's due, provide evidence of where it's getting its information, and then double check the evidence of that information. I do it all the time. My AI will not give me an output without a source link. And I always check the link because sometimes it likes to give you the link, but it's not a real link. Mm-hmm. It's like you click on it, it's a 404. I'm like, what are you sending me? And so I check its work like you would check an intern's work. You wouldn't let an intern release a report like this. And the thing is, they're getting people's information with this. So they're benefiting from like a lead perspective there. Do
you think this was fully like an AI? So maybe they put in a prompt and you think the AI actually went out, found this newsletter on Substack and basically plagiarized the whole thing? Or do you think that someone put that in there and they just didn't tell it to like, hey, make this not plagiarized, essentially? They
might have given like, hey, let's come up with a, state of social report. Here's a past report we've done. Here's new data from whatever. They probably have like Dentsu data from their customers. Like here's customer data to consolidate into like analysis. Here's, an insight from a popular social whatever person, and reference these materials closely when creating the thing. And it's like, oh, you want me to do it closely? Cool. I'll just copy and paste.
Yeah. Now, I also wonder, like, because after you do all that, it's probably safe to at least give it an extra prompt. Be like, can you just make sure this is not plagiarized? Check everything and just like make changes. Even take this and make it 50% different, just so it's not plagiarized. Or, so I wonder if they did that and then either AI, because AI does this all the time, says, yeah, we're good. Or did they not do it?
Should I tell my codex to create a state of landing pages 2026 report and then see what it comes up with and then see like where it's getting its data from? And I'll just tell it, even if it hasn't, I'll be like, hey, some of it looks plagiarized. I bet you will be like, you're right. I bet you. I'm going to tell Code right now. I'm going to tell it right now.
That'd be interesting.
Create a state of landing page report 2026 based on all the landing pages that I've created this year, client data, insights that I've shared, including statistics from other reports, Make sure to always provide credible sources for each. Show me the links of all the places where you are referencing insights so I can verify that they are correct.
You forgot to say don't mess up.
Don't mess up. I swear to God, don't F up. Don't make no mistakes.
I'm canceling. No mistakes. Make it viral.
No mistakes or I'm downgrading. Okay, perfect. We'll do a follow-up on that. That'll be hilarious. All right, next. So this was funny and you were like, please add this to the docket. But I was just sharing it in the group chat because I thought it was hilarious. But today, somebody sent me an outreach and I love looking at what they say in the outreach. You know, sometimes it's like, most times it's like, hey, your insights are really valuable. We can learn from each other. And I'm like, okay, dude, whatever. So then I sent it in the group chat and it's this guy. I'm not going to blur him out because, you know, whatever.
Yeah, just run it.
It's not bad. It's just kind of like funny. All right.
Hey there. Jess Cook, head of marketing at Vector here. And anyone who listens to Tass and Tim on Notorious B2B is a friend of mine. So I'm going to hold your hand while I say this. Native targeting is filling your funnel with ghosts. Wouldn't you rather put your ad dollars toward, I don't know, people on your website, clicking your ads, researching your competitors? I know I would. Vector lets you build ad audiences from those exact people. Unlike native targeting, which gatekeeps that shit. Only letting you pick like some titles and industries and then just trusting them to show your ads to the right people. Boo. Okay. Rant over, go to vector.co and get your ad audiences right.
So we have Chris Hay, and he says he's chief love advocate at Business Love Stories. Very interesting, whatever the hell that is. I should have looked into it more. But he says, hey, Tass, MLK said, love is the greatest force in the universe. I believe that leaders who are motivated by this universal love are the superheroes our world needs more of. And I'm looking to befriend others who share the same belief. If that's you, I'd love to connect. Okay, it's a very kind of like niche belief, right? About universal love and superheroes and stuff like that. Like, who's like, wow, that's me. I'm a superhero who believes in universal love. Hi, Chris. Like, I mean, it's kind of
too much.
Sweet. It's kind of endearing, but I shared it in another group chat too. And it was kind of funny because I like to get all of the reactions and it's at least different from the usual stuff. It made me actually read and think about it. And I'm like, that's interesting. Also, trying to use MLK to freaking pitch max. You're pitch maxing with MLK is really interesting here. But it was funny because my other group chat, they're like, wow, what a great opener. I'm going to send that to 1,000 prospects today. And another one goes, invoke MLK. What a life hack. And the other one goes, people will be like, who? And say, oh, Tass is black. Yeah, Tass is black, I think. And then
honestly, that's my first thought. That was my first thought.
I was black and decided to use MLK. And then another person says, she's too ethnically ambiguous. Default to black. And then the other person goes, this is a black person, by the way, but my bestie, and he goes, ChatGPT, analyze skin and change the quote. So it's going down this rabbit hole of like, holy shit, can you imagine? That would be an insane agent. And now I'm like, crap, I want to build this thing. I want to build this. And then weren't you the one that was like, if he sent you a Gandhi quote, I would have freaking lost it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first initial thought. I was like, they were going down that route. I thought they were going down that route.
Wow.
Like, would I have gotten like a, I don't know.
What would they send you? Like a Trump quote?
Yeah, probably. Trump quote or like a lyric from Eminem, probably. Like an Eminem quote. Yeah. Like one of the white rappers. I'm pretty sure.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's who's representing your race. I get MLK and
much,
Gandhi and you get Eminem.
Maybe George Washington. I don't know.
Anyway, so we just wanted to share that with you because we thought it was really funny. So anyway.
It worked.
Okay. Next one. I got 3 in a row here because apparently these are all things that I've sent you. But this one, close to our heart. And I just found this today. But this guy, Michael Fullweiler, he says, Rottweiler, can we talk about how fucked up it is to lay someone off while they are on parental leave? The irony is, I've heard like 3 stories in the last month of this happening to people. like while they're on maternity leave. And then he goes, it happened to me. It sucked. I see it happening to others on this app all the time, especially new moms. When did we collectively decide it's okay? It should honestly be illegal. Having a baby is stressful enough. And then suddenly to be unemployed without health insurance for your family, terrible. Let's do better. It's so... I mean, honestly, like here's the thing. There are some states where there are legal protections in place to prevent this.
I thought that was legal. I honestly did think that was legal.
You thought it was illegal? I
thought it was illegal. And that's why I thought a lot of companies, what they do is they let you come back. And then a month later, or like when the cutoff's gone, they let you go.
Yeah, they've done that. Well, you've talked about it before where you worked at a place and it was this pattern that anytime someone went on parental leave, they'd come back and get laid off.
Yeah, but like after 30 days, I think there was like a cutoff at like 30 days because of the rules.
Oh, so freaking shady. So shady. So this was one in another group chat. I won't mention who the person is. And it wasn't parental leave, but it was medical leave. And so the person said, you know, hey, last week I got let go from my company while on medical leave, which turns out is totally legal because I hadn't been there long enough to qualify for FMLA. So that's their scapegoat, is like if you like get pregnant, have a baby, go on medical leave, anything, FMLA only protects you if you've been there for at least a year. I'm pretty sure.
Brutal.
And so they hadn't been there that long and then got let go while on medical leave. Not only did this person get let go while on leave, hasn't even returned back. They're like, I'm still actively in treatment for the next month. I'm not looking to jump into anything. And then plot twist, we are also expecting a baby, adding to another layer of this complication. And now it's like, what do I do? Do I try to get side work? Do I try to get another full-time job? How do I disclose it in an interview? Like, and they were asking advice in this other group chat. Brutal. That is like a crazy situation to be in.
It's brutal. It's brutal. But I want to explain what I think is going on.
Oh yeah, you have an opposing opinion on here. You said Tim has thoughts.
Let me be clear.
I'm going to fold my arms so you know.
Yeah. I want to be very clear. My thought is it's terrible. This should not happen, but I do understand why it's happening.
Okay.
I think what's going on in the founder, the CEO, or whoever is the hiring people, the people up top, what's going on in their mind is this. So if you're obviously, like you said, like it depends on how long you've been there. So let's just say you've been there a while where you do get this leave, and this is like the law, right? But you can let them go. Mm-hmm. If you're out for a month, 3 months, whatever that is, you're going to be leaving, right? So you tell them, and then they prepare for that. Whether that is other team members joining in to help and take off your tasks, whether that's hiring someone, for a short period of time, whether that's getting rid of whatever you're doing and just kind of prioritizing. So they're already figuring out how to do it without you. They're already doing that. They had to. That's what they were doing. And you helped them do that. That's what usually happens. You want to be a good person and like help and build out systems and show people how to do these things. That's what's going on. And so they now see that they don't need you anymore because we can handle it without you are paying for this person right now because they're on leave, but in theory, you could let them go and you'd be good because you're already doing it, that job. You don't need them anymore. And it's also a short period of time where you don't see the impact. Because if it's like a whole year, obviously it's different, but like you wouldn't see the whole impact of them leaving if they're a really good employee. Within a month, you don't see that impact whatever you're doing. So you already have the systems in place to let this person go. And so when they get back, you're like, well, why would I still give you money if we're handling this already?
Okay, so it sounds like the key is to get some systems in place so you look like the hero, you still look like the good guy, but leave a couple of open threads. But they can't be too small where they're like, oh, we'll deal with it. They have to be a couple of big enough threads where they're like, oh shit, I wish Tass was here right now.
Shit needs to break.
Yeah.
But not break while you're out. They need to, well, they do, but not enough for them to reach out to you while you're on leave. You have to find the line here. You have to make it set up so it works until like the third week because they're still thinking like, oh, we could let them go, but we're not sure yet. Something breaks, but not enough for them to call you. Or they do call you and be like, no, I'm out. And you're like, okay, well, whatever. But you have to set it up.
I think that it needs to be, if it's something too big, they're going to blame you and been like, this is the big deal, a big project. You should have taken care of it before you left. What actually needs to happen is this, which is a series of little things. It's like, when your sweater gets stuck on a drawer and you're like, ugh. It's something that's annoying, and it's like little things. It's almost like whack-a-mole. So it's like something small happens, they take care of it. They're like, okay, cool, that's good. Something happens over here. Something happens over there. Something happens over there. And it's like, shit, there's a person who needs to be dedicated to handling these little fires that come out. So they're not big enough for them to call me about this, like, hey, what invoice contract thing? Like, but then it's something they have to dedicate time to doing and managing. Then something else needs to come up on the other side. So they're all small enough they wouldn't call you, but annoying enough in aggregate that they're like, I need her back.
100%.
Boom.
If you can Claude code that thing and you can set it up so every week something breaks, but like you can quickly fix it on your end if you need to, have at it.
That would be such a wild playbook, which is like, everyone's talking about automating stuff. It's like, hey, here's a playbook to have AI break stuff for you, so it creates job dependency.
But you can't get caught.
Yeah,
you have to be good at it. Like you can't get, because someone with better skills than you will catch it.
Yeah.
And Claude ain't lying for you, by the way. I can promise you right now.
Okay.
It'll give up the beans.
No, use ChatGPT. ChatGPT will lie for you.
Chat will lie for you.
100%. Codex will lie for you. Yes.
Codex a little no snitching over here.
No snitching. No. It's like it's a guard dog. Claude is more like a little sibling. Loyal? Like it's smart. It still needs you to like guide it. It's a little sibling, but it will tattle on you. But GPT is kind of like a guard dog, like endlessly loyal,
Really?
Yeah. It's not going to challenge you.
Okay. That's good to know.
Anyway.
Will it take out Claude?
What?
Will it take out Claude for snitching?
Will it take out Claude? I don't know if it'll...
Claude snitches, Codex will take him out.
It's like a golden retriever though, so I don't think it'll harm somebody else. Okay. Yeah. It's not like it's not like a bodyguard. It's not
a Rottweiler.
Loyal, yeah. It's loyal in like a Lucy sense, like whatever you say, but it's not going to hurt someone. I don't think. Anyway, all right.
Good to know.
I want our special guest to come on here, and we're going to talk about two things that I want to talk about with our special guest. Okay. Should we bring this guest in? Because there's a topic here. They're very passionate about it. They texted us saying, can I please cover this on the show? And we're like, hell yeah. So let's bring her in. You look stunning today, by the way.
Fancy.
Wow.
Thank you. I took a shower last night.
Wow, last night.
Great color on you.
I'm always a little nervous to wear red.
No. Why?
These days. I just look like a MAGA bitch with the blonde hair and the red. I don't want to look like what's her face.
I mean, it's giving a little trad right now that you mention it. But,
okay, I'm gonna go check. Tim doesn't know Tim doesn't know anything we're saying.
Yeah. Wow, you don't know what? Wow, he really lives under a rock with politics. That's fine. It's good.
Yeah, I really don't.
You probably live a happier life, to be honest.
It's nice. Yeah.
But our special guest today is 4-time guest host.
4-time.
I forgot we're recording already.
Yeah, we are. Our 4-time guest host, Chelsea Castle. We saw an article by Kieran Flanagan. His title's different now. It's like SVP AI or something like that at HubSpot. And he always talks about a HubSpot AI plays, marketing plays, whatever. And he did one lately and it ruffled you the wrong way. And you're like, can I please talk about this on the pod? And we're like, yes, you will probably be way more passionate about it too than us. And then I also have another one that we'll cover right after that because I want your opinion on it. We did talk about it in the group chat a little bit, but let's pull up this post. I can pull it up for you so you can read the post for everybody so they can understand the background. And then I would love to hear your thoughts. All right, here we go. Go for it, Chel.
Oh, you want me to read it? Okay. All right, I got to zoom in. I'm blind. All right. So I will first say mad respect to Kieran, right? Like he's well known in the industry. I like Kieran. But anyway, he made this post the other day. I won't read every word, but I'll read most of it. So I built an AI skill that helps to inject taste into your content before it ever ships. It's from my personal AI content system, and I'm giving it away for free as it's truly helpful for those building a personal audience. The skill is called Content Taste. Great name. Very original. It runs every draft through 2 checks. 2 things that help you to create content that will truly scale an audience.
Ooh.
Scale an audience. How do you scale an audience? Okay. Check 1, the share test. Would your ideal audience share this? If it doesn't make them look smart, give them an unfair advantage, surprise them, or make them feel something, it dies on arrival. That also sounds like it was written by AI. Check 2, the onlyness test. Could only you have written this? Delete the byline. Could you tell who wrote it? If a competitor could republish the same piece next week, there's no moat, blah, blah, blah. He does go on to say the AI is the coach. You're still the answer. The best part of the skill is that it auto-loads my audience profile and writing style for my AI content system. So all recommendations align with them. So he goes on to share a nice AI graphic that shows how the image is the skill. You can download it and have Claude build it. Looks pretty cool. People were salivating over this.
Stop.
In the comments, just like salivating. I left a comment and was like, is nobody calling BS on this? And somebody, when you just clicked on it, you could see the one person who responded and was like, yes, I'm calling BS. So that's the post. He's basically generating a skill to inject taste to scale an audience.
Scale your audience. Yeah, why not? That's what we all want to do. Let's look at this graphic a little bit deeper here. So he has another graphic that is like his whole content system. And he had the ideation and talking point extractor, which I actually did use the talking point extractor for myself. And then he has the writing, the drafting, whatever. So I rebuilt his entire content system in my instance to test it out. Only the talking point extractor was worth anything. The rest of it was, this is me downloading from their marketing against the grain, they give away the files and I'm part of his Substack. So he gave away all of this and it's just it still comes out with the choppy sentences, the way I don't write, no matter how much reference I give it. So I'm always skeptical of these types of things, but he has the share test, which is make them look smart. The onlyness test, the byline, the steal, the source, spar, don't polish, slop patterns, generic openers, hedge word soup, false contrarianism, summary voice, listicle blob, engagement farming, and then slop to sharp before. Oh, okay. He's given a before and after. I can't wait. In today's fast-paced world, content marketing is more important than ever. First of all, no one writes like that. Not even AI. I feel like AI doesn't even write like that. Okay. No, besides that, brands that want to stand out need to focus on providing value to their audience. After, we shipped 3 posts a week for a year. The 2 that drove 80% of our signups both broke the rule everyone gave us. They didn't provide value. They picked a fight. That is so written by AI.
Yeah, the last 2 sentences. Exactly that.
They broke the rule everyone gave us. They didn't provide value. They picked a fight. That's taste. Stop it.
Be so freaking for real right now. It's giving high school nerd can't get a girlfriend, so he builds a robot. Only now adult nerds don't have taste, so let's try and program it. Seriously.
You just called this a glorified content blow-up doll.
Wow.
Literally. So I have so many thoughts you could rein me in.
Okay.
Since AI Slop has filled our feeds, we have been talking a lot about taste.
Yeah.
There's so many great thought posts from friends and other smart people about taste. What we really mean when we talk about taste is flavor, personality, quality, character, flair. When you look at how Zendaya dresses, taste. When you watch a Kendrick Lamar music video, taste. When you study Hannah Einbinder's stand-up jokes, taste. When you listen to Yo-Yo Ma play the cello, it's taste. And you only get there by doing the work. It's practice, it's process, it's reps. And that is the only way, and human experience. Mm-hmm. That is the only way you generate or have taste, whether you're writing, whether you're making a video, whether you're cutting fruit in a video, whether you're singing your own B2B Weird Al songs like UTAS, or whether you're painting or an athlete, the only way you are good at something or have taste is by putting in the reps and having the process. So this really got under my skin. And again, I do respect and appreciate Kieran. I've learned a lot about AI from him.
Same.
But at the same time, this is thinking that you can generate taste with a robot just completely misses the fucking point and is insulting and really kind of sad, because like the people who call themselves writers, not just like anybody can write. There's lots of people who write well on LinkedIn. If you call yourself a writer, you enjoy the process. You enjoy sparring with words on a page and writing something over and over and over and revising. The same way I would think, like Tim, like when you make videos, doing the videos that you create is freaking hard. Whether you're making, yes, they take time. It takes process. You get better and better and better as you go. Like if you, as a writer, especially because that's what he's talking about here, is like generating taste in your written copy. It takes time and you enjoy the process. So to think that like you're going to just take a shortcut to get there is just missing the point. And it's never going to get there, because it also takes human experience. It takes pain. It takes mistakes. It takes failures. It takes bullies. It takes wins. It takes the reps that only a human can have, and the beliefs and limitations and actions that happen to us as humans. Like it takes all of that to generate taste. So
and I fully agree with that. When Pep came on our podcast, he gave the example of Pep, who is the CEO of Winter, if nobody knows, because I just say names and expect everyone to know. He came on and he said that his son, I think he's like in 8th grade or something like that, and they are learning to create slide decks. And so his son walks him through a slide deck, and he's like, he had these like freaking transitions and the animations, like back in the day, so like 90s and stuff. And he's like, they thought it was super cool. And he was like, Dad, look at this cool thing I created, and showing him. And Pep's like, I'm looking at this thing and going, God, I would never show this in a client meeting or a boardroom or anything like that. And in fact, the slides that do best are the ones that are super clean, not a lot of movement, honestly, like pretty minimalistic. And he's like, they had all this copy and all this transition. He's like, that's the thing that he will learn over time. When I was his age, I thought that was cool too. Just because a feature exists doesn't mean we should use it. That judgment, AI is like, I have access to this feature, I'm going to use it. And it's you that needs to judge the output. We have a group chat with the 3 of us, and then Kaylee, who, 3 to 5 business day responses. But, she talks a lot about, we're always like, Kaylee, what's the latest AI thing you're working on? Because she was just so ahead of it at one point that Tim and I always felt like idiots when we talked to her. Like, what do you mean you're working on this? And so the minute she kind of talked about how she was doing some of these auto tasks, you saw my list of questions was, okay, are you reviewing the outputs? Are you trusting that? How much time do you spend editing the outputs? Because that's where it's hard for me to let go. No matter how much I train all of this stuff on my previous stuff, I still edit every single thing that it puts out. And I feel like you can't shortcut your way to taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's a hard skill on its own. Like I would say very few people are good writers, even fewer people are good editors. And then the type of editing you're talking about, like how do you actually work with the AI output to get something good or to get something usable, whether it's a synthesization or whatever. I'm using that a lot lately in client work, is having it synthesize notes. So yeah. I'm just writing. I'm just basically using it as like a toy almost, to like kind of play around with like notes and things that people say to help me write. And then I'm like writing over here. It's still my source content. Yes. Actually, like as a writer, you have source content that you write from, as if like I were to interview somebody, and it's kind of serving that purpose for me. But he talked about, like Kieran's post talks about using it as a sparring partner. And I just don't think most people understand how to use it that way, because it's freaking hard. Like your brain actually has a bias to like the content that you're reading. And I've been doing some research, and there's some studies too that show how using it is affecting your brain. Even if you feel like you're using it as a sparring partner, it's still affecting your brain. So I'm going to go off and read this one study, and then you can read me in. So the MIT Media Lab conducted a study where they split participants into 3 groups writing essays. 1 used ChatGPT, 1 used a search engine, and 1 used only their brain. They measured their connectivity with an EEG, and the brain group showed the strongest, most distributed brain connectivity within their like a neural network in your brain. The search engine group showed moderate engagement, and the LLM users showed the weakest connectivity. And the gap is even worse when you're looking at the theta band, which is the part of your brain where there's frequency tied to memory function memory formation and deep thinking. And they call this cognitive debt. So what's happening when you're using an LLM, even if you feel like you're using it in like the right way, it's almost like financial debt where the AI is giving you something now that's quietly costing you later. Because what they did is they asked the LLM users to, what did they say? They asked the users to write unaided, and they kind of kept circling on the same ideas, and they couldn't think of anything to say because their brain was stuck on whatever the LLM gave them. And the researchers are reading that as a sign that they had never actually engaged with the material to begin with. So like, you just can't develop discernment by skipping all of the friction that builds it. And there's many more tests or many more studies around things like this, but it's like how it affects our brain is crazy. And then you think about like the taste aspect of that, where like you have to have some of the friction to actually have a good output.
I feel like taste is equivalent to lived experience, and guess who doesn't have the lived experience? But Tim, you're always devil's advocate, so I want to give you.
No, I completely agree with all this. I think at least for this LinkedIn crowd, the reason these things do well is because everyone loves how fast it can be done. Like
They
you
want
just said,
the shortcut.
taste is experience and background and doing it. No, give me this freaking infographic. Give me this prompt, this MD. Let me build a skill and just write it off of there. Like that's so much faster. I run into this. I built dashboards and stuff for like reporting. One time the MCP wasn't working. You could not pay me to go do it manually like I used to, just because I know it's automated. Do you know how hard that was for me to actually pull it? You think I'm going to pull a CSV and actually create filters now? I am not doing that.
Timothy.
Do you forget how?
Sometimes, honestly. On the other side of it, like from the writing, because I cannot figure it out. Like I've tried it so hard, like giving it all the data points, all the feedback in the world. At this point, it's like, I'll start with AI. It'll do it wrong over and over and over again. I'll be like, nope, I'm over it. Let me start my own thing and it'll be better. I have to tell myself it can't be fast by trying it, knowing it's wrong, and then I'll do it myself, which is so stupid because I should just started myself and I would save so much more time. But yeah, I think the speed and just being like, it's done for me. We've always had this. This is way before AI. Like, just give me the answer. Like, we've always had this. And I think this is why people love this. People love these little infographics.
They do. Well, they love the frameworks. They love the templates. I mean, so I use AI daily. That is just like, I do it. I also think of low stakes versus high stakes situations. And so my usage for those tend to be more low stakes. So over time, in the beginning, I would argue with it and be like, okay, can you just write like me? No, it can't write like me. You know why? Because I'm putting a random Snoop Dogg reference and it doesn't know when I want to do a random Snoop Dogg reference. And Claude has told me, like, I will be like, here's the finished edit, from what you gave me. And it's like wildly different. And Claude's like, has told me once, like, I can't, that is just very uniquely you. There's no like pattern recognition because I'm just like, I'll just randomly say some bullshit. I will tell you that content is the absolute last use case I use any kind of AI for. I do it for analysis. So if I'm planning a trip or building a birthday site, like organizing the notorious B2B doc, like things like that, even like emails and stuff coming up with that. Cool. Low stakes. I'm sending it to one person. It's an email. Fine. Whatever. I've sent it 1,000 times. It's a template I've given you, which I originally wrote. Those things to do faster. I think this kind of stuff you can't shortcut because it is tied to your reputation, your brand. You start sounding like everyone else. You are like everyone else. I saved this and closed one, but it's so relevant to our conversation now. And one of my favorite people who writes on LinkedIn is Ashley Amber Sava. This woman will write about cannibalism on freaking LinkedIn. It is insane.
I love her.
The gumption that she has. And I want to read this post because she did this week. And it's so funny because I don't always read her stuff because I know it's long. It's like reading a novella and like, I don't always have it. But every time I do it, I'm like, I should read her post more because it's like when you smell coffee, when you've smelled too many scents and it's just like it cleanses.
It's a cleanser.
Yeah,
she's like a palate cleanser. Yeah.
So this is a post she wrote, and she says, you know, when you stumble upon generic advice posts from someone whose life you have personally witnessed, so you know their words are utter donkey dung. Like AI would never write donkey dung, right? And she goes, success isn't about working hard. Okay. Leadership starts with listening. Revolutionary. The real growth happens outside your comfort zone. Call the freaking Vatican. She goes, you could swap every noun with thing, every verb with do, and every adjective with good, and the sentence would retain 100% of its nutritional value. And I read that line and I was like, that sums up all the AI posts on LinkedIn. She obliterated them with like one sentence. And then she's like, we're talking Rice Krispies people. And then she goes, expertise has fingerprints and cigarette burns. It limps. Earthlings who don't know anything have to speak in inflatable furniture. Everything has to fit everyone. Everything has to survive contact with absolutely nobody disagreeing. The confidence to insight ratio on the site needs to be federally investigated. There should be hazmat teams. Now, those with absolutely nothing to say have discovered that they can outsource saying it as democratized the production of content that sounds profound to people who have never had a profound thought, as if we needed a forklift for empty barrels. And because I've watched these magnificent turnips navigate reality, every cell in my body starts vibrating. You are now lecturing strangers about strategic judgment. You? The same you whose entire thought leadership pipeline is Claude putting garnish on mashed potatoes. The same you who says, let's zoom out every time you're asked a specific question. Take several seats. If your ideas were any more generic, IKEA would include an Allen wrench.
Damn.
Freaking mic drop.
She's so good.
And
you can't write like her. That's the whole point.
You cannot write
like do you think her. She wrote, like I tell my kid all the time, like, do you think she started out writing like that? Like, do you think they started out like that? No, it takes practice.
Yeah. I mean,
practice.
I don't even think
it's unique to her.
Yeah. I don't even think I could practice enough to ever get to write like her. And I quoted her and I said, I wish I could be half the writer you are. Hot damn. I want you to recite poetry to me. I want you to rewrite every book I'm reading as you. I want you to be the voice that I hear in my head. Like, it was just so, I mean, and like the last post, you know, right before spring, she wrote last year, when I met her for the first time, and I'm like, I look at you and I think about cannibalism, and you were talking about content strategy for companies. And she's like, that's the most beautiful thing anyone's ever said to me. It's just, you know, that's like who she is as a person. And so that's the kind of writing, it just, it captivates you. You don't, you know, I'm not thinking about anybody else. And I just told Tim the sheer amount of people and companies I've respected who now will deliver newsletters, deliver posts that I see every day. And I'm like, no, not you too, not you too. That's the only thing that, and it's like when you see someone who only does brand posts and you're like, you're a sellout. That's what I think about when I see someone who only writes. Even Kieran, I love him. He has great ideas. I listen to him on the podcast because I know that's really him. But his Substack, his posts, which he's openly said on Marketing Against Grain that he outsources to his content system. Yeah, we know. The thing I was going to say about Ashley and a lot of other creative people like that, it requires vulnerability, like you were saying about like the human experience and life experience. And that's one of the reasons why we want to shortcut it. It's people think they're not creative. Like Kayla used to say that all the time. I'm not creative. I'm like, yes, everybody has the capacity and ability to be creative. It's a skill. It's a muscle, and it requires vulnerability. It requires putting yourself out there. It requires talking about cannibalism or something weird on LinkedIn. It requires, that's like why I'm leaning into just being cringe, and it's fun. And once you do that, like Tim, you've done some outlandish, silly, vulnerable, cringe. Like you've done all sorts of weird things on video on LinkedIn. He's weird right now. Look at his shirt.
Exactly.
It's not get crazy.
Yeah. No, like it requires being vulnerable. And like as humans, I will say, like, 'cause Tim, you mentioned the shortcut thing. Like our brains are wired for efficiency.
Yeah.
Like if you're walking and you see like a path that has been, I think it's called like a desired path. If you see, through like grass where people are making a shortcut, like our brains are wired that way from like the caveman era. Mm-hmm. So we're always kind of looking for shortcuts. I'm like, oh, like I'm going to carry all the groceries inside in one, one trip to be efficient. 100%. But that's when like tasks, like your low level, high stakes, low stakes, like thought process is important. And I don't know if people have the capacity to always think about like the cost of using it in certain ways, where this is the last thing I'll say. I admittedly last year was using AI a lot, trying to use it as a sparring partner because people I liked and respected and who were good editors were using it that way. And I would try to use it like to get my ideas going. And what started happening is I hit a huge wall where I couldn't fucking think of anything for myself. Mm-hmm. I couldn't think of anything without going to it first. And that's like what I had like that light bulb moment with that MIT study where like it created like this haziness. It like does affect your brain. And Brene Brown was talking about this on a podcast where she was like, I've been using AI for years and I started feeling this haziness where like I couldn't think of something for myself or couldn't thought and get it started on your own. And that terrified me. So I canceled all my subscriptions and I just like stopped. This was like a year ago. And I wrote a post about canceling my ChatGPT subscription and it like blew up. And I just like, it was terrifying because that's something that is like innate to my identity as a human. And not everybody feels that way. But at the same, like we just kind of have to think about like the cost of how we're using it. And it's okay to be vulnerable. And that's important.
I wouldn't condone canceling and doing nothing with AI. There's still things that you should probably not be thinking about and using AI for.
I had to learn. I had to learn,
Build it from the ground up. I hear. Tear it down, build up.
But I set my own guidelines of like, this is how I want to use it. And here's how I'm not going to use it. And it didn't feel bad in the moment. I thought I was using it to help me, come up with ideas, but it was not a good result for me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even use it necessarily as like a sparring partner. It's like, I will have conversations like this. I'll use it to extract stuff that I've already come up with during calls or something like that, like transcripts, lives, that kind of stuff. But for me, the ideas come shower and a walk. And I write it down in an Apple Notes, like, oh shit, this idea. Or I have like an idea coda now and I write the ideas in there. And it'll go in and it'll organize the ideas. It'll be like, hey, it looks like this idea is a business idea, not a content idea. So it'll categorize stuff for me. And then it'll say, you need to bake this out a little bit more. So it's just telling me like, go think about this a little bit more. You need more meat before this can ever become something. So just things like that. And then again, the low stakes, high stakes. My email, like it's terrible. I'm terrible at email. I'm terrible at my LinkedIn DMs. It can't help me with that because LinkedIn hates anything that isn't LinkedIn. But the emails and stuff, it's like, okay, when I'm responding to someone and it's like a follow-up email, cool. I send the same 3 links every time. It swaps a link out for me. Yeah. It's my template. The end. Bye. Send it. So it's just stuff like that. Or follow-ups, easy. Hey, checking in on status. I could type that in 2 seconds, but sometimes it just like sends it for me or reminds me, hey, you need to follow up with this client. I'm terrible at that. Like, I send off stuff to the client. I forget about it. So again, low stakes, high stakes, putting it behind my content. You know that I put out a post today with my demo landing page. I worked on it for 3 hours yesterday. Okay. And that's how my text posts usually take me like 30 minutes. And my infographic post can take me up to 3 hours. Every single placement, what information I want to include, all of the screenshots, putting that in, writing the notes for each one. AI doesn't do it well. And we'll miss
And that's a high value post. And I would assume that those high value posts also generate leads.
Yes. High stakes. I can't afford for it to go out with a mistaken gobbledygook on there. You know how it loves to add the like its own language. Yeah. Like I can't afford for it to go out with alien meets predator or whatever. So that kind of stuff. So anyway, very good. I love this discussion. Tim's evaluating his life. I can see it in his eyes right now. Question though, what do you think about big creators messaging people, cold outreach and saying, hey, if you pay me $5,000 a month, I will react to your posts and comment. I didn't know this was a thing.
It's so icky. It's so icky.
Tim?
I was quiet when you guys were going back and forth because you're like, you're debating. And I'm like, this is just so icky. I think Okay, I don't know. I want Tim's take.
It's icky, but the algo, I don't know if it does it anymore, but it used to play that game. If you were a big enough creator, you could comment or like a post and it would basically show that post to your network or your followers. And so from a reach standpoint, if you could pay someone, in this case, $5,000 and it would give you a certain amount of reach, I get it. Some people just want reach. Some people want followers. Some people want that stuff. And if that's cheaper than paying for ads or just cheaper than doing other things, some people would do it. I'm not saying it's right.
It's another shortcut. Instead of learning to make good content that's engaging, I'll just pay someone.
I agree.
Although
I agree, but it's not always the case. The algorithm is brutal. It's not always about the content anymore. Your good content could get beat up.
This is true. A little birdie told me that LinkedIn is working on smashing reach for posts that have been clearly shared in channels. This is their way of kind of getting at engagement pods.
That's stupid though.
They are working, like if there is evidence, I don't know how they're doing this, but if there is evidence, I'm sure you could probably get it by like number of clicks and referral source. Yeah. They are squashing reach if they can tell, or if they have their own signals of engagement pod use, because they don't like that. They don't think that's fair.
I hope they're smart about that though, because what if someone generally likes it and shares it in the Slack group in their company?
Yeah, that's tricky.
Because that's a good sign, right? Shares are a good sign of like more reach. Yes. But like if it's a good post, and Chris Walker loves talking about this in 2021, this was his jam. If it's a good post and someone shares it in the growth channel in your company, that could get a bunch of likes.
Yeah.
But someone could also share that, to your point, an engagement pod. So I really hope they figure out, and they're terrible at algorithms, so they won't, but I hope they figure out the difference between the two.
How about they just show my post to the people who follow me because they want landing page content? How about they start there?
Because no other platform does it.
Can you just show it to the people that chose to see my content?
Yeah. The people who have volunteered to say, yes, I want to follow her for her content. Can you please show my content to the people who want that first?
Well, that's lame. Why do we stop there?
Other features.
Just show it to people that want to like buy my stuff. How about that?
That'd be perfect. I'll use that. That's the ads part though. So
no, that's just the algorithm.
Fine.
Best platform in the world.
I want you to pay for that. Yeah. Or maybe can we focus on making notifications work?
Yeah, there's probably some low-hanging stuff we could probably figure out first.
There's probably a ton.
Yeah. But it is an interesting model, because now I'm thinking like for the creator, there's really no con, because all they're doing is liking it. It's not like they're sponsoring them when they're putting their name on it. They're just engaging, commenting, whatever, to help them with some reach. But it still feels a little. Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of. Is
this shady or is it freaking genius? It's one of those things. We should start. We should do a content series, called "Is it shady or is it just genius?" And then we'll go over like outreach things, right? Like the guy sharing the MLK thing with me. Is it genius or is it kind of shady?
And it's shady or smart?
Yeah. Like on Instagram, there's like tons of these series where people are like, oh, is this an outfit or is she just tall? And it's a petite woman who's doing the series. And it's cool. She puts on these outfits in these pictures. She orders stuff just like it. And she's like, yeah, she's just tall. Like this doesn't look good on us short girls. So we can do that, but about like LinkedIn tactics and stuff. Done. Sold.
We should do that. Yeah. The other thing I'm just thinking of is if you are somebody who is willing to pay a creator that much for engagement, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, who are you? You make that much in-house, or you're trying to sell your business, and you have to be doing well to be able to like, you know what I mean? To give that kind of money.
Well, that's the thing.
Like,
I think
why?
The person that reached out must have a bunch of followers, because no one's doing that unless you don't have like a six-figure followers.
Saying. Yeah.
Like you have to have aura, right? Like there's gotta be something there.
You have to have aura.
Big aura, like LinkedIn aura.
Is that? Oh, aura. I thought you were like,
What?
I thought you were talking about the aura ring. Like you would definitely pay for an aura ring at that level. That's what I thought of. Not aura with an A.
Oh, geez.
But no, that actually is interesting, because what's happening, and there's been a couple LinkedIn studies recently that has shown how a lot of people with like 50,000 plus followers are actually having a hard time. And we're seeing that like even Jen Allen, who was like the queen of of LinkedIn, like all of our algorithmic reach is like, it's just killed us, everyone. Like recently.
Yeah.
So the people who are used to good reach, good engagement, especially people with large audiences, through the study showed that the higher your reach does not have any impact anymore on the higher your audience does not have any impact on your reach.
It's all
so I would
space.
Understand where you kind of get like you're jonesing for that dopamine hit now that you used to get all the time. So like, I guess we'll just all pay each other to boost each other's posts.
Perfect.
That's what happens. Yeah. I mean, you gotta pay, you gotta pay someone. You gotta pay up.
Yeah.
It's not that serious though. It's just LinkedIn, guys.
No, it's serious for some people.
Yeah.
Don't you? It's serious for me. What are you talking about? I'd do that. 5,000. Done.
Who would you pay 5,000 to
Someone
get like
with
an
dollars.
engagement?
I would test it for the content if they had 1 million followers.
Tim will try anything.
Like imagine, but here's the thing.
It'd have to be like a household name. Only, yeah.
But here's the thing. If you're thinking about this right, say it's Snoop Dogg that's offering this. To say that Snoop Dogg liked my post, that's content. That's more reach. I'm Snoop
Does
Dogg
it matter
comments
if
on my
it's not
stuff.
organic? I wouldn't care if it's not real.
But Snoop Dogg did comment on it. I paid for him, but it doesn't say sponsored on it. You know what I mean? Like if it's a big name, then you can use that. You're an investor. Hey, I'm just saying, Jason Calacanis, just like my last 6 posts about our company.
To be fair, Snoop Dogg is on LinkedIn. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like if you get the right person, like say it's a big investor person, like someone that's on Shark Tank, and you can use that social proof to like, cause you talk about your app, this new app that you're building, and the last 6 likes are of the Shark Tank person. That's social proof you can use to show your investors.
You know what this is reminding me of? The guy that said that he sold 20,000 smartphones when they actually sold 200.
Hey, if it works, it works. Everyone's going to keep doing it.
That was the story that we had on our episode where the guy embezzled money.
Great. Amazing. Yeah. Just, again, we use our brains for evil and not good. This is what comes of it. This is what comes of it.
That's what people are thinking.
All right. We had a couple of other ones. I'm going to save them for next week because we're way over.
We're done.
And the retention rate, it dropped right around where Tim agreed that this was a good strategy. So
it's a great strategy.
Yeah.
Could be in theory. All right.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Thank you. See you next time.
See you.
Hey, big shout out to Vector for sponsoring and for giving marketers one less thing to swear about, because nothing spikes your blood pressure like targeting that doesn't target. Am I right? Build audiences by name at vector.co. Your swear jar will thank you. I promise. Go check them out. Vector.co.